أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون وسواء عليهم أنذرتم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون إنما تنذر من اتبع الذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب فبشره بمغفرة وأجر كريم. إنا نحن نحيي الموتى ونكتب ما قدموا وآثارهم وكل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين. وضرب لهم مثلا أصحاب القرية إذ جاءها المرسلون إذ أرسلنا إليهم 2 فكذبوهما فعززنا بثالث فقالوا إنا إليكم مرسلون قالوا ما أنتم إلا بشر مثلنا وما أنزل الرحمن من شيء إن أنتم إلا تكذبون قالوا ربنا يعلم إنا إليكم لمرسلون وما علينا إلا البلاغ المبين قالوا إنا تطيرنا بكم لئن لم تنتهوا لنرجمنكم وليمسنكم منا عذاب أليم قالوا طائركم معكم أئن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مسرفون. وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يا قوم اتبعوا المرسلين أتبعوا من لا يسألكم أجرا وهم مهتدون وما لي لا أعبد الذي فطرني وإليه ترجعون أتخذ من دونه آلية إن يردني الرحمن بضر لا تغني عني شفاعتهم شيئا ولا ينقذون إني إذا لفي ضلال مبين إني آمنت بربكم فاسمعون قيل ادخل الجنة قال يا ليت قومي يعلمون بما غفر لي ربي وجعلني من المكرمين وما أنزلنا على قومه من بعده من جند من السماء وما كنا منزلين إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم خامدون يا حسرة على العباد ما يأتيهم من رسول إلا كانوا به يستهزئون ألم يروا كم أهلكنا قبلهم من القرون أنهم إليهم لا يرجعون وإن كل لما جميع لدينا محضرون وآية لهم الأرض الميتة أحييناها وأخرجنا منها حبا فمنه يأكلون وجعلنا فيها جنات من نخيل وأعناب وفجرنا فيها من العيون ليأكلوا من ثمره وما عملته أيديهم أفلا يشكرون سبحان الذي خلق الأزواج كلها مما تنبت الأرض ومن أنفسهم ومما لا يعلمون وآية لهم الليل نسلخ منه النهار فإذا هم مظلمون والشمس تجري لمستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم والقمر قدرناه منازل حتى عاد كالعرجون القديم لا الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون وآية لهم أن حملنا ذرية في الفلك المشحون وخلقنا لهم من مثله ما يركبون وإن نشاء نغرقهم فلا صريخ لهم ولا هم ينقذون إلا رحمة منا ومتاعا إلى حين وإذا قيل لهم اتقوا ما بين أيديكم وما خلفكم لعلكم ترحمون وما تأتيهم من آية من آيات ربهم إلا كانوا عنها معرضين وإذا قيل لهم أنفقوا مما رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا أنطعم من لو يشاء الله أطعما إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين ما ينظرون إلا صيحة واحدة تأخذهم وهم يخصمون فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أهلهم يرجعون ونفخ في الصور فإذا هم من الأجداث إلى ربهم ينسلون قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون. يعني كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم جميع لدينا محضرون. فاليوم لا تظلم نفس شيئا ولا تجزون إلا ما كنتم تعملون. إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهون هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون لهم فيها فاكهة ولهم ما يدعون سلام قولا من رب رحيم. وامتازوا اليوم أيها المجرمون ألم أعهد إليكم يا بني آدم ألا تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين وأن اعبدوني هذا صراط مستقيم. ولقد أضل منكم جبلا كثيرا أفلم تكونوا تعقلون. هذه جهنم التي كنتم توعدون اصلوها اليوم بما كنتم تكفرون. اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون. ولو نشاء لطمسنا على أعينهم فاستبقوا الصراط فأنى يبصرون. ولو نشاء لمسخناهم على مكانتهم فما استطاعوا مضيا ولا يرجعون. ومن نعمره ننكس في الخلق أفلا يعقلون. وما علمناه الشعر وما ينبغي له إن هو إلا ذكر وقرآن مبين لينظر من كان حيا ويحق القول على الكافرين. أولم يروا أن خلقنا لهم مما عملت أيدينا أنعاما فهم لها مالكون وذللناها لهم فمنها ركوبهم ومنها يأكلون ولهم فيها منافع ومشارب أفلا يشكرون. واتخذوا من دون الله آلية لعلهم ينصرون لا يستطيعون نصرهم وهم لهم جند محضرون. فلا يحزنك قولهم إنا نعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون. أولم يرى الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحيي الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم. الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون. أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم. إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون. فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون. سورة الفاتحة.
صلوا على النبी। ये मैं हूँ मैं मेरी तन्हाई ये तमाशाई लो आई 11 मुहर्रम है क्या खबर लाई चलिए जानी में जिंदा तुम्हारी माँ जाई सवार हमने किया था तुम्हें मेरे भाई अब आओ या मुझे कह दो न इंतजार करूं اٹھو حسین بہن کو ذرا سوار کرو. اٹھو حسین بہن کو ذرا سوار کرو. سوار ہم نے کیا تھا تمہیں بنے رخصت، لگام تھام کی میں نے بلائے دیری کر. کہاں گئی وہ محبت، کہاں گئی چاہت، امام اپنا میرے سر پہ سایہ بار کرو. اٹھو حسین بہن کو ذرا سوار کرو. وطن سے دور ہوں کچھ اور دور جاتی ہوں. اٹھو اٹھو میرے بھیا تمہیں جگاتی ہوں. کوئی بھی آتا نہیں ہے کسے بلاتی ہوں. قرار تب میرے مجھ کو بے قرار کرو. اٹھو حسین بہن کو ذرا سوار کرو. سفر مدینہ سے کیسا تھا، یہ سفر کیا ہے. نہ محملے ہے نہ ہو تج، نہ کوئی برپا ہے. یہ سر میں خواب، یہ کرب و بلا کا صحرا ہے. نہ جی سکوں گی تیرے بعد، اعتبار کرو. اٹھو حسین بہن کو ذرا سوار کرو. میں آؤں گی میرے بھیا ضرور آؤں گی. کفن اڑاؤں گی مرکد تیرا بناؤں گی. جہاں بھی جاؤں گی فرش عزا بچھاؤں گی. میں قید خان سے لوٹاؤں انتظار کرو. اٹھو حسین، اٹھو حسین بہن کو ذرا سوار کرو. اب آؤ یا مجھے کہہ دو نہ انتظار کروں. اٹھو حسین بہن کو ذرا سوار کرو. صلو النبی.
Fatiha for your marhumin and for the marhumin, the mu'mineen that do not have anyone to recite Surah Fatiha on their behalf.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي لا يبلغ مدحته القائلون ولا يوصي نعماه العادون ولا يؤدي حقه المجتهدون الذي لا يدركه بهد الهمم ولا يناله غوث الفتن الذي ليس لصفته حد محدود ولا نعت موجود ولا وقت محدود ولا أجل ممدود فترى الخلائق بقدرته ونشر الرياح برحمته ووتد بالسخر ميدان أرض ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وحبيبنا وحبيب رب العالمين أبي القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين واللعن على أعدائهم أجمعين من أول يوم ظلمهم إلى قيام يوم الدين أما بعد فقال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه المبين وقوله الحق بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ولا تركنوا إلى الذين ظلموا فتمسكم النار وما لكم من دون الله من أولياء ثم لا تنصرون صدق الله العلي العظيم. The first of our salawat in honor of Amir al-Mu'minin Sayyidina SIIJLA. The second of our salawat in honor of Hassan and Husein, the masters of the use of paradise. And finally, the last of our salawat in honor of the Imam of our time, Imam Sahib al Zaman alayhi salam. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. When we started this lecture off, when we started this series of lectures off, one of the first or second lectures, I believe, was a biography of Imam Huseini alayhi salam. And when you look at the whole incident of Karbala, when you look at that whole storyline, if we're going to talk about the biography and the character of what kind of a personality Imam Huseini alayhi salam was, then we also need to look at and talk about what kind of a personality Yazid Lanatullah alayhi was. To bring this whole thing in a full circle from a biography, we finish off in a biography. And inshallah, tonight's lecture is dealing with Yazid Lanatullah alayhi. Maybe some people are thinking, why do we need to talk about Yazid? Everyone knows what kind of a notorious character Yazid was. Everyone knows the heinous crime that he had committed. Everyone knows that. So why do we need to talk about Yazid? If you are all paying attention to what's going on in the world, brothers and sisters, you will see that within the last few years, within mainstream Islam, people have been confused about what kind of a personality Yazid is. What do I mean? Before, if everyone used to condemn Yazid for the atrocities that he committed, especially the events of Karbala, today within mainstream Islam, they're confused. If before they used to say La'an on Yazid, today people are saying no, it shouldn't happen. If before mainstream Sunnis, forget Shias, if mainstream Sunnis used to come out and condemn Yazid and say that yes, it was because of Yazid, it was Yazid who massacred everyone in Karbala, today people say no, it wasn't Yazid, Yazid wasn't even in Karbala. He wasn't in Karbala. When he wasn't in Karbala, then how could he have done it? Before, people used to say that Yazid's reign was illegitimate. Today, mainstream Sunnis, they're saying, no, you know what, it was. Some Sunnis, they call him Amir al-Mu'minin. And they say that Imam Husayn alayhi salam, it was wrong for Imam Husayn alayhi salam to rise up against Yazid. Why? Because he was the Khalifa, he was Amir al-Mu'minin. And they dub Imam Husayn a rebel. Mainstream Islam. And this is what we need to look at. Because if this is creeping up into mainstream Islam, then it becomes dangerous. Why? Because now you're supporting a tyrant. Mainstream Muslims are now saying, or they're legitimizing what a tyrant had done previously. When you legitimize his actions as Muslims, what message are you sending to the rest of the world? Because nowadays, we're not in just an Islamic or Muslim society. We're in a non-Islamic society. We're a non-Muslim society. So when you say that, yes, what Yazid did back then was completely correct, what are you basically telling the rest of the world? That's why it becomes important for us to understand what kind of a character Yazid was. Before, people used to say, yes, the battle in Karbala was a battle of good versus evil. Mainstream Muslims, today they're saying what? No, it was just a battle over political rule. If it was a battle over political rule, then you have to ask yourself, what was the need? Like a non-Muslim had said, if it was truly a battle over Islamic rule, then what was the need for Hussein to go out with his kids? What was the need for Hussein to go out with the women and children? And this is what we want to look at tonight. This is what we want to analyze tonight. One, what kind of a person Yazid was. Two, was his reign legitimate, or was his becoming a Khalifa, was it legitimate from not just a historical point of view, but from an Islamic point of view? Was it legitimate? Three, if it wasn't legitimate, then why do the Muslims today consider him to be a rightful Khalifa? A rightful Khalifa. If you look into history books, you see that even the Sunnis, their greatest historians, there's something that even the Sunnis don't know, that some of their greatest historians, they used to say that Imam Hassan, he had power for almost 6 months. Before Muawiyah, he took complete control. Even their historians, they say what? They say that Imam Hassan was the 5th rightly guided Khalifa. If he was truly the 5th rightly guided Khalifa, then wasn't it kufr for them to rise up against the rightly guided Khalifa? This is what doesn't make sense to all of us. If you rise up against the first Khalifa, you're kafir. If you rise up against the second Khalifa, you're kafir. If you rise up against the third Khalifa, you're kafir. But if you rise up against Amir al-Mu'minin, the fourth Khalifa, no. There's a difference of opinion. It was an ijtihadi difference. If you rise up against Imam Hassan, no, that was an ijtihadi difference. You rise up against Imam Hussein, no, that's an ijtihadi difference. Well, how does that make any sense? If rising up against a Khalifa makes you a kafir, then anyone that rises up against any Khalifa should make you a kafir. Where is this picking and choosing coming from? And why is it that if you rise up against the first three, you're kafir, but if you rise up against any of the Ahlul Bayt who had power, you're not kafir? The fact that you're choosing like this shows who you love and shows who you have enmity towards, shows who you have hatred towards. And this is what I want to get rid of. Everyone knows that one of the most tyrannical people to usurp the right of the Ahlul Bayt was Yazid ibn Muawiyah. But how did Yazid come into power? If you ask a lot of the Sunnis, they say there was ijma. Ijma in what sense? That the Tabi'een and the companions of the Holy Prophet, they agreed for Yazid to become Khalifa. If that was true, brothers and sisters, you have people like Abdullah ibn Zubair. He never paid allegiance to Yazid. You have Aisha, she never paid allegiance to Yazid. You have Imam Huseini alayhi salam, he never paid allegiance to Yazid. You have the Banu Hashim, none of them paid allegiance to Yazid. So where was this ijma? Where was this consensus? When you look at history books, you see what Muawiyah did. One of the criteria that Muawiyah signed with Imam Hassan alayhi salam was what? That Muawiyah would not designate a successor after him. Muawiyah would not designate a successor after him. And do you know what Muawiyah was doing in his reign for 10 years? Even though he reigned more for 10 years, but for 10 years, the last 10 years of his life, do you know what he was doing? He was trying to get bayyat for Yazid to be Khalifa after him. He was trying to get bayyat from whom? The companions. From whom? From people like Imam Hussein, from people like Aisha, but they wouldn't give bayyat. And when the people wouldn't give bayyah, what would Muawiyah do? He'd have him murdered, the way he had Imam Hassan alayhi salam. He paid Imam Hassan's wife to murder the holy Imam. And that's how Imam Hassan alayhi salam was shaheed, by his wife. You look at other incidents. Do you think that the incident of Karbala was the only incident that Yazid committed in his life? from 680 to 683, 3 years. He ruled for 3 years. In those 3 years, if you see all the atrocities he committed, you'll come to the conclusion that there's no way that this man was even Muslim. This man, you come to the conclusion, this man wasn't even fit to be imam of prayer, let alone imam of the Islamic Ummah. After the event of Karbala was the most atrocious, the most heinous crime of Yazid. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But if you were to say this to some of the Sunnis, they'd say you can't judge him based on one crime. You can't judge him based on one crime, which is absolutely sad. Because is there a bigger crime? Is there a bigger crime in the religion than murdering the grandson of the Holy Prophet? Is there a bigger crime in the religion than murdering the grandson of that person whose kalima you recite? No, there isn't. But when they say you can't judge based on one crime, okay, no problem. What did he do after Karbala? The Battle of Harra, when did it happen? Where did it happen? How did it happen? It happened after the incident of Karbala. And why did it happen? Do you all know? The people in Makkah, the people in Medina, it happened in the outskirts of Medina. They didn't want to give bay'ah to Yazid. When they didn't want to give bay'ah to Yazid, Sunni historians, they say that Yazid told his general that Medina is mubah for you for 3 days. Medina is completely mubah for you for 3 days. What does that mean? Do you all know? It means that you can do whatever you want in Medina for 3 days. The generals, they went in, the army, 70,000, 75,000, 60,000 horsemen, 15,000 troops. They went to Medina, they killed women, children, companions, tabi'een, they killed them. 10,000 people, they enslaved them. 1,000 women they raped. For what? For Yazid's rule? This is the imam that you want to follow? Yazid, it came to a point where what would he do? Anyone who wouldn't pay bay'ah to Yazid in Mecca, they were sold off at his will. Free people, not even slaves. He enslaved free people, and that's what he would do. Is that not a heinous crime? If that's not enough, after Mecca, after Medina, he had his eyes set on Mecca. And what happens? He sends the army towards Mecca. The commander of the army, he dies on the way there. But then when the army gets there, what does the army end up doing? They end up catapulting boulders onto the Kaaba, burning down the Kaaba, destroying the Kaaba. On the orders of whom? Yazid. The atrocity of Karbala, a historical fact. The Battle of Harra, a historical fact. The burning of the Kaaba, a historical fact. Yet you come and say that Yazid was a good person? That's what's amazing. Just to legitimize his rule, you come and say all of these, they don't matter? If you don't believe the Imam to be truly the Imam, then at the very least do not believe and do not pray towards the Kaaba. Is the Kaaba not sacred for you? If human life has no worth in your eyes, fine, it has no worth in your eyes. But at the very least, does that Kaaba not have worth in your eyes? Do you not pray 5 times a day towards that Kaaba? So where was this coming from? This rule of Yazid, how was it legitimate? In what sense was it legitimate? No one before him ever dared to do anything like that. And what did they say? No, he was Khalifa. He was Khalifa, he can do what he wants. But was he truly, did he have the right to be Khalifa? Did he truly have the right to be the Imam of the Muslims? This is the question. When you look, what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? Who can be an Imam? Who was the very first Imam that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made Imam? I'm asking because I know for a fact I did a lecture on this. Who was the very first person? Who was the very first person? Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ya Ibrahim, I've made you an Imam over mankind. Hazrat Ibrahim, and he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Allah, what about my zuriyah? Ya Allah, what about my offspring? And what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in reply? Ya Allah, he says, Ya Ibrahim, this ukhda is not for the zalimeen. When I did the lecture on imamat, I had already talked about one of the conditions of imamat is that the person who is an imam cannot be a zalim. Cannot be a zalim. Now the question is asked, well, what's the definition of a zalim? What's the definition of a zalim? We can give a definition, but maybe the other side won't accept it. So what do the Sunni ulama themselves say the definition of zalimun or zalim is? A fasiq and a fajr. Someone who's fasiq and someone who's fajr is considered to be zalim. Both of these traits are within you, then you're considered to be zalim. Sunni ulama, they themselves say that there's a difference of opinion on Yazid's fisq. But him being a fajr, everyone agrees. Everyone agrees. If there's a difference of opinion on one thing, that means what? That some people, they believe that yes, he was fasiq also. But everyone agrees that he was fajr. So when you have the majority of Muslims agreeing that yes, this man was a fajr, then how can you make him the imam of the Muslims? You look at authentic Sunni books. You look at authentic Sunni history books. They'll tell you about what Yazid did and what kind of a character he was. The Bidayah wal Nihaya. You read that book, it's a history book. And it tells you about the character of Yazid. What did they say that he used to do? He used to play with monkeys. He used to have bears and monkeys fight. What did he used to, just for fun, what did he used to do? He used to strap monkeys on saddles of horses and he used to make them run. This is how he spent his time. And this is how Muawiyah raised him to be. He gave him nothing but just a materialistic upbringing. That was it. Yazid knew nothing of a spiritual world. All he knew was of this materialistic upbringing. If you don't give your child a complete upbringing, an Islamic upbringing, this is what you end up into. When you look at the events of Karbala, what do you see? You see that there were two people, there were two types of upbringing. One upbringing was Imam Hussein's upbringing, which was a complete Islamic upbringing. And the other was Yazid's upbringing, which was nothing but a materialistic upbringing. That's it. That's it. When the heads came to Yazid, what did he say? If you don't believe that, he was a fasiq, he was fasiq. If you don't believe those incidents where they say that, what did he say? These words of Yazid are written down in history books. What did he say? He says what? The Banu Hashim just played a game for politics. They played a game for power. There was no revelation and there was no prophet. When you deny revelation, when you deny prophethood, what do you become? Kafir. You become a kafir. So now he's a kafir, fasiq, fajr. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says this type of person will never become imam. And you've made this type of person your imam? And if you look at Islam today, this is the reason Islam is where it's at today. This is the reason, because these types of people were made imams. The imams that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had chosen for us, they were cast aside. The imams that we decided to choose for ourselves, people like this. Even today, the Yazid of today is exactly like that. The Yazid of today is exactly like that. The Banu Saudi Arabia, this is exactly what they do. You don't think they drink? You don't think they gamble? No, they do exactly the same thing. They're in the form of Muslims. That's it. Just like Muawiyah, just like Yazid. But to call them Muslims is very difficult. To call them Muslims is difficult. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Abdullah ibn Zubair was one of the personalities who never paid allegiance to Yazid. And where was he? He was in Mecca. And because he didn't pay allegiance to Yazid, Yazid wanted that allegiance. He wanted the allegiance of a couple of people before Imam Hussein even left to his journey. One was Imam Hussein, the other was Zubair, Abdullah ibn Zubair. His father had warned him. His father had warned him about Abdullah. He told him, watch out for Abdullah. He's a fox, he's a cunning fox. Either kill him or pay him enough to get your bay'ah. And Abdullah, he never paid allegiance. And because of that, what does he do? He has the Kaaba destroyed. And he's not a fasiq, he's not a fajr. No. This is what's amazing. Then who is a fasiq? Who is a fajr in your eyes? The only other personality who had khilafat, who had rulership in his hands, was Amir al-Mu'mineen. And he tried his best to deal with justice. He tried his best to take Islam to what it was during the Holy Prophet's time. Yet we all know what happened with Amir al-Mu'mineen. Battle after battle after battle. There was no rest. And when you come to Yazid, you see the other atrocities he committed, you see the type of character he was, and you look at what Sunni historians themselves say about him. I get baffled. How can these people? Why is this? This ideology that's coming in, this Wahhabi ideology that's sneaking into mainstream Islam. This ideology is the ideology of Ibn Taymiyyah. If you read his books about the Ahlul Bayt, you'll see that he was a staunch hater of the Ahlul Bayt. And this is where that ideology is coming in from. And this is what we need. This is what we as Shias, we face every day. There will be our friends, yes, but at the same time, we had a julus. How many of them showed up? That's the question. You want ikhtiyat bain al-Muslimin? Perfect, no problem, we'll do it. But how many of them showed up? They know what happened on the 10th of Muharram. How many of them showed up? Why? Why aren't they showing up to these julus? This is what everyone needs to ask. Why aren't they? Do they not know what happened at the 10th of Karbala? No, they know. Everyone, the whole world knows what happened at the 10th of Karbala. But why won't you show up to julus? Why won't you come out and say, yes, we're against tyranny? Why won't you come out and say, yes, we're against oppression? Why is that so hard? Because you know that if you come out, people will start doing research. Who are they talking about? And if people start doing research, they'll go back even further than Yazid. That's what they're scared of. I don't have a problem with being ihtiyat, there being unity between Muslims. But what I do have a problem with, and what all of us should have a problem is what? Giving up our identity just to be united with them. That's where the problem is. When we say that Yazid was wrong, no, I'm not going to say, you know what, if you believe Yazid is right, come with. No. What did Imam Hussein say when he rose up? He didn't say that Hussein will never pledge allegiance to Yazid. What did he say? He said that a man like me will never pledge allegiance to a man like Yazid. When you think about this phrase, when you think about this sentence, it wasn't mahdud, it wasn't limited to Imam Hussein's time. It transcended time to all the people. Anyone who says that they're Husaini, they will never, ever even shake hands with someone who is a Yazidi. And this is the way it should be. If you truly believe that you're Husaini, leave the Yazidis alone. Tell them what kind of person they are. Salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. When there's consensus over Yazid being a transgressor, when there's consensus over Yazid being a transgressor, him being a fasiq, him being a fajr, then why is it so hard for you to say, yes, he was wrong? Today, the mainstream Muslims, what are they saying? Imam Hussein was wrong to go up against Yazid. Really? Imam Hussein was wrong? Why was he wrong? Because Yazid was Amir al-Mu'mineen. From a historical point of view, Muawiyah, he was killing off anyone who wouldn't pledge allegiance to Yazid. From a historical point of view, Muawiyah, he would pay off people just so they could pay allegiance to Yazid. From a historical point of view, Muawiyah had already written that he would not choose a successor after himself. This is all history from a historical point of view. When Muawiyah has already written that he would not choose a successor after himself, why is he having people pay allegiance to Yazid? What does that tell you? That he never intended to comply with all of those conditions of Imam Hassan alayhi salam. From a historical point of view. From an Islamic point of view, from a Quranic point of view, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says this uhda of imamat is not for transgressors, this uhda of imamat is not for kafirin or zalimin. If Yazid was a zalimin from Islamic point of view, from a Quranic point of view, he's not imam. So why is it so hard to just say this? Imam Husein alayhi salam, na'uzubillah, was the rebel. This is what it's come to. Yazid, his reign was legitimate. Imam Hussein, he shouldn't have stood up. Every year, every 2 years, the Mufti in Saudi Arabia, he always gives out his fatwa. He always gives out his fatwa. I don't know if he gave it out this year, but I remember last year or 2 years ago, he gave it out. Same thing, every 2 years. It was wrong of Hussein to rise up against Yazid. If you think about it, that's the way they're holding on to power. As soon as they were to say, yes, Yazid was right to rise up against, or Imam Hussein was right to rise up against Yazid, their power will completely cease to exist. Because the people there are dying just to rise up. But just to legitimize their claim for power, they have to go back in history and look at Muslims who had power, just so they can legitimize their own. The last idea that they have is that, look, you can't blame Yazid for the shahadat of Imam Hussein. Yazid was never there. Yazid didn't physically do that to Imam Hussein alayhi salam, so we can't blame him. We can't blame him. If you read the Quran, brothers and sisters, who does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blame for the murder of the Jews? Who does he blame for the murder of Jews? 10,000 people. Fir'aun. Fir'aun, what did he used to do? When he got the news that Hazrat Musa would be born, and because of Hazrat Musa, his whole rulership would cease to exist, what did he used to do? He used to cut open, not him literally, but his generals, his soldiers used to cut open the women and have them killed. It was his soldiers that would go and kill the newborns if they were born. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says what? He blames all of that on Fir'aun. Did Fir'aun literally go and kill each and every single one of them? No, he didn't. But what did he do? He gave the order for that to happen. The same way, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, when he rose up, Yazid gave the order for Imam Hussein alayhi salam to be killed. Even today, if you just look at it, think about it today. If a general gives an order to the army, and the army follows, the soldier follow it, who would get blamed for that? If a general says, you know what, I want you to kill all these innocent people, and the army, they go and they kill the innocent people, not only the soldiers in the army will get blamed for it, but also the general. If a general achieves something, who would be praised for that? Even though he wasn't there, the general would be praised for it. We don't say literally Yazid, but he gave the order. Because he gave that order, he was part. He took part. He was the major part in the shahadat of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Because he gave that order. That's what's hard to understand. Like, why would you not just come out and say that? Today, brothers and sisters, today was the 11th, tonight is the 12th. Today was the day where Al Muhammad, they go from Karbala and they make their way towards Kufa. It's one thing to see all your relatives dead here from the ground. But it's another thing to be at a higher position and see everything that happened around you. What do I mean? After Sham Ghariban, when the army decided to move out, when did Ahlul Bayt see everything that had happened in Karbala from a different perspective? Do you all know? When the army told everyone to get on top of the camels. When you're looking at the scenario from up here, the picture is completely different than looking at that scenario from down there. What did Lady Zainab Salawatullah ask to be done? Do you all know? She just asked for one thing. She says, can you take us to the body of Husein before we go? We just want to see the body. That's it. And she wasn't even given that request. How do you think Sukaina felt today leaving the body of her father? How do you think Imam Zain al-Abidin felt when he saw the headless body of his father that wasn't buried? How do you think Lady Sukaina felt looking at the headless body of her father that wasn't buried? Sallallahu alayka ya Rasulallah. Sallallahu alayka ya Amir al-Mu'mineen. Sallallahu alayki ya Siddiqatu Fatima. Sallallahu alayka ya Imam al-Hasan. Sallallahu alayka ya Gharib al-Ghuraba. Ya Aba Abdullah al-Husayn. Ya Husayn. Ya Husayn. Brothers and sisters, today is when Lady Zainab Salawatullah and the caravan, they leave Karbala and they head towards Kufa. But on this journey, they head towards Kufa, but the journey doesn't end in Kufa. The journey will eventually get to Sham. Do you know what would happen on the way to Damascus, brothers and sisters? If a child would fall off from the horse, if a child would fall off from the camel, no one would ever stop. The child would fall down, and the camels, they just run over the body of the child, and the child would be just left there. If you go to Karbala, and you go to the way that Ahlul Bayt were taken from Karbala to Sham, you'll see that every 20 or 30 miles there's a body. And that body, it says what? It has writing on it that says, Bint al-Imam Hassan. That writing, it says, Bint al-Imam Hussein. That writing says, the son of Imam Hussein, the son of Imam Hassan, the daughter of Imam Hassan, or the daughter of Imam Hussein. But brothers and sisters, when this caravan, it gets to the gates of Kufa, do you know what happens? Ibn Ziyad and his men, they tell Shimr and all of them to stay outside. Why? Because they're getting the palace ready. When Lady Zainab Salawatullah, she was waiting outside, she asked Imam Zain al-Abidin, Ya Sajjad, why are we waiting out here? Imam Zain al-Abidin, he says, oh my auntie dear, why? Because they're setting up the palace. They've told everyone here that a bunch of rebels have come, and so because of that, they're setting up the palace to make it look beautiful. That's why we're waiting out here. And on the way, what did they used to do when they got to Kufa? People, when they heard that these were rebels, they used to throw rocks in Sham, they used to throw water, they used to give dates. But when they got to Kufa, brothers and sisters, what does Ibn Ziyad do? He tries and tests Lady Zainab Salawatullah. What does he say? He says, oh Zainab, how did you see what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did to your caravan? How did you see what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did to Hussein? And what does Lady Zainab reply? She says, Ma ra'aytu illa jamila. I see nothing but beauty about what happened to them. Do you not know that these people, they were destined to be martyred, and they went out in the battlefield and they became martyred? Ibn Ziyad, he got angry at this. When he got angry, he realizes that no matter what he said, he could not shake Lady Zainab's salawatullah. This Lady Zainab, brothers and sisters, when they were at the door, she heard a voice. And that voice, the first time it said, Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. She looks here, she looks there, she doesn't know where that voice is coming from. Then she hears again, she says, Assalamu alayka ya bint Rasulullah. What did she see? She sees that on the gate of Kufa, on the gate of that palace, there was a head. She didn't recognize that head, so that head speaks to it, and what does he say? Ya bint Rasul, do you not know who I am? I'm Muslim bin Aqil. I've been waiting for all of you here for over a month. Please accept my salams. And when they get inside, what did the army of Yazid do? They all tried to take that Lady Zainab Salawatullah. They tried to crush her emotionally, but nothing could happen. And what happens? What happens, brothers and sisters? On the night of the 12th, Lady Zainab, she's in the palace and she's praying her Salatul Layl. She wakes up in the middle of the night to pray her Salatul Layl, and she sees that Imam Zainul Abidin is not there. When she sees that Imam Zainul Abidin is not there, she calls out, Ya Jatti, oh grandfather dear, I only had one Sajjad and he's not here anymore, where is he? She calls out to her father for help, and as soon as she calls out for her father, she sees that Imam Zainul Abidin, he's coming through the gate. When he comes through the gate, Lady Zainab Salawatullah, she asks him, oh my son Sajjad, where had you gone? Imam Sajjad, he says, oh my auntie dear, I went to go bury my father. Lady Zainab, she says, oh Sajjad, how did you bury him? Imam Zainul Abidin, he says, oh my auntie dear, when I went there, I saw that there were a couple of women from the Banu Asad clan, and they were crying around that body. When they saw me approach, they started to leave, and I said to them, oh my sisters, oh my mothers, wait, I am the son of this man that you're crying over. And they asked me who I am, and I tell them that I am Ali, and this is my father Hussein. And those ladies, they say, you're absolutely right, this is Hussein. And he asked Imam Zainab, he says, oh my auntie dear, I asked them, how do you know that this is Hussein? And they say, oh Ali, for 3 days now, we've been hearing a lady who keeps saying, this is Hussein, what have you done to Hussein? For 3 days we've been hearing this voice. Imam Zainul Abidin, he starts crying and he says, oh my auntie dear, after they left, I tried to bury the body of my father, but what did I realize? I realized that when I would give the body down, there was no one to take it. And if I was to go into the grave, there was no one to give it to me. Ya Sajjad, tell me, how did you bury the body of my brother? Imam Zainul Abidin, he says, oh auntie dear, I turned towards Najaf and I said, Ya Abati Adrikni. I said, oh father dear, oh grandfather dear, please help me. Oh Sajjad, what happened then? Oh auntie dear, as soon as I said that, I saw 2 hands come out of the grave. Ya Sajjad, when there was 2 hands, the hands of my father Ali. No auntie dear, they were the father of my grandmother Fatima. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Matam Hussein.
Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. जा रहा है करबला का काफिला जा रहा है करबला का काफिला याद रहा है करबला का काफिला जा रहा है करबला दिल के टुकड़े हो گئی غم کی نشانی رہ گئی جس کا تھا ماں کو سہارا وہ نشانی رہ گئی غم پہ غم دکھلا رہا ہے کربلا کا قافلہ جا رہا ہے کربلا کا قافلہ جا رہا ہے قافلہ جاتا ہے اجڑے ہوئے گھر سے قدم عباس کا لے چلا مشق سکینہ وی علم عباس کا خون دل برسا رہا ہے کربلا کا قافلہ جا رہا ہے قافلہ جا رہا ہے قافلہ جو تصور میں نہیں آئے وہ سہارا بھی چلا سو گئے تربت میں اصغر اجڑا جھولا بھی چلا موت کو بہلا رہا ہے کربلا کا قافلہ جا رہا ہے کربلا قافلہ جا رہا قافلہ بہنے والی آنسوؤں میں خون کی لالی لے چلی چاند مقتل میں چھپا ماں گود خالی لے چلی درد غم دکھلا رہا ہے کربلا کا قافلہ جا رہا ہے قافلہ جا رہا ہے قافلہ یا حسین 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 سورة مباركة الفاتحة.
اعوذ باللہ من الشیطان الرجیم بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم السلام علیکم یا رسول اللہ السلام کے ابن بی خدیجۃ الکبریٰ السلام کے امام علی السلام کے بی بی فاطمۃ الزہرا سیدۃ النساء العالمین السلام کے حسن مشتبہ السلام کے حسین الشہید کربلا السلام کے علی زین العابدین السلام کیا محمد باقر السلام کیا جعفر صادق السلام کیا موسیٰ کاظم السلام کے علی رضا السلام کے محمد تقی السلام کے علی نقی السلام کے محمد عسکری ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ السلام کے صاحب الزمان السلام کے شفیق القرآن السلام کے خلیفۃ الرحمن السلام علیکم مولانا یا صاحب عصر والزمان السلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن
صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في عيسى وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا قائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرزك طوعا وتمتعه فيها دليلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.